Today we're at Fauquier Education Farm in Warrenton, Virginia, and we're here with the Executive Director, Mr. Jim Hankins. Jim, you do a lot of work with organic production, and we're talking about no-till organic production here. What does that exactly mean?
Well, you know, most farmers and gardeners are used to the first idea that they go into the garden is they take a rototiller or a plow and they plow up that soil and get a good clean tilled seed bed. What I'm doing instead is planting cover crops and letting those cover crops be a primary source of nutrients for the garden. And I'm not plowing it under, I'm rolling it down on top of the surface and leaving it there. There's really no need to plow, and when I can reduce tillage, I'm going to build long-term soil health.
So good soil health, and you're adding fertilization to the ground.
Absolutely, a tremendous amount of nutrients. Most of my cover crops that I'm growing are a mix of a cereal grain and a legume. Okay. This right here, we planted in March. It's spring oats and field peas. You know, I've still got some of the field peas, but the oats have overgrown them and shaded them down. Right. I'm not harvesting anything here. This is green manure. I'm growing it to create more organic matter in the soil. Plus, it's also suppressing the weeds. Not only did the oats overshade the field peas, but the weeds are just, they can't compete with this. And they have a difficult time coming up through this dense mat of rolled down vegetation.
So you actually roll it down with the machine?
Yes, so roller crimper on the back of the tractor. In most places I've found that if I then come in with woven landscape fabric, I can have a completely weed-free garden, or 95% weed-free garden, and really increase production while I'm building the soil.
Well, that's great. I'd love to see some of that ground cover you're talking about, maybe some of the crops that are growing on it.
I've got some areas that we planted back in May that are, much farther along than this.
Okay, Jim, we're here. We've got this landscaping fabric. Is this what you were talking about?
Yes, absolutely. This landscape fabric, which is reusable for many years, is put down right over top of a cover crop that has been rolled down. Okay. Now, this will eliminate most of the weeds, but I'm still getting the organic benefit of all of that layer of mulch underneath the ground cover.
Yeah, and these plants look great. They're thriving in this.
They're doing really well. This works. It's one of the biggest reasons why we do it a lot here. Now, for a home gardener, they're not going to be able to afford a roller crimper, and if you've got a small plot, you can raise that cover crop. I've had somebody talk about just going in with a weed eater. Okay. And if you're mindful of how you're laying the cover crop down so it's evenly dispersed over the ground and then covering it with this landscape fabric, you don't have to get out there with a rototiller. You could even go in with just hay or straw mulch if you can't grow the cover crop. Right. Cover it with this landscape fabric, and you're increasing the biodiversity in the soil, which is going to help the long-term your crop production.
Makes lots of sense. You're keeping soil moisture evaporation down also. Yes. So there's lots of benefits from this. I can see it.
Weed control, nutrient management, and moisture management.
Well, excellent. Well, thank you so much for allowing us to come out and showing us what you're doing here today. We really appreciate it.
You're always welcome.
Well, for more information about organic no-till, you can search the internet for it or talk to your master gardener at your local county extension office. For From the Ground Up, I'm Chris Mullins. We'll see you next time.
From the Ground Up is presented with the generous advice and assistance of Virginia Cooperative Extension. Visit their website at ext.vt.edu.